What is up, guys? It is Chase, and today is Tuesday, and today is College Football Tuesday. So for College Football Tuesday, we're going to be doing a little recap of college football games of the weekend. I'm looking at how I think the rankings will play out. Today is when the new rankings come out. I believe it starts, I'll check right now, but I believe it starts at 4:30, I think, or 4:30 or 4. That'll be on ESPN. Let me see what time it starts. Yeah, it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So let's go ahead and get into... So we're going to be talking about college football, where I think the rankings will be like, doing a little recap of the weekend. We're going to be previewing tonight's MLS Western Conference semifinals between the Seattle Sounders and the FC Dallas. So we'll preview that matchup. And finally, we'll also preview a college basketball game, Michigan State and Duke, as our college basketball game of the day. There's a lot of college basketball games every day, so it's hard for me to preview all of them. So I'm going to pick one matchup to preview every day before the game starts. So today I'm doing Duke, Michigan State. Duke is number 6. Michigan State is number 8. So let's go ahead and get started with the MLS preview. The Sounders taking on FC Dallas in the conference semifinals in Seattle today. Should be a pretty good game.
With the Home Depot app, your phone is your most powerful tool. Find just what you need in a snap.
So the Sounders,
get a second opinion in seconds and have it all delivered
I picked
free.
LAFC as an upset.
Download today.
Didn't happen.
Smith once again, run away from Cannon, clipping it in. Headers over the ball from Jordan Morris.
Oh, what a chance here. Ty getting forward. Now watch how the little combination play, just able to evade Acosta and then uses his speed, glides past Reggie Cannon. That's a fantastic ball. And Jordan Morris, almost too much time here to think about it.
Hold on. Able to find Rui Diaz. Acosta stepped in, couldn't get there. The shot from distance. It's a goal. Rui Diaz. 1-0 Seattle.
When they played Portland. FC Dallas, they were able to stun Portland. And then they had a game time.
Well, it was Ferreira down the other end who loses possession. And then look at the pass here from Christian Roldan. As it goes wide initially, he gets it back. And it's the weight of the pass. Cervania thinks he can get there, and he just bites on this pass as it comes into Rui Diaz. The weight of that there. He misses it completely, gets between the lines, and then the finish. I think... we look at Gonzalez there. It's from a distance. Can he do better? Yes. But I think he's shielded as this one comes in. And Rui Diaz comes back across Hedges to that near post. There it is. It almost looks like he slips. He doesn't get a good push off there, Jesse Gonzalez. And it's in the back of the net. It's an excellent finish for Raul Rui Diaz.
And Jones the other way. Rui Diaz got a flick on a long ball, heading it off. Jordan Morris!
In this matchup, it's always...
Seattle in total control.
Religion has not won this matchup since 2011. Dallas, they got a huge win, but they haven't looked too strong, and they've won just 2 of 10 road games during the regular season.
There's just been a couple moments that have let them down. They step up higher here. It's a long, direct ball beating the press. And then Ziegler has a look over his shoulder. Matt Hedges was drawn to this near side, and Jovan Jones is completely free there. You look at the left back, Hollingshead, he's not connected to the center backs. That then leaves the space for Jordan Morris to join late. Doesn't have to take a touch, takes it first time.
Team that have really controlled that season series the last couple of seasons. Ladero off the bounce, clipping it in. Rui Diaz on both of the bar.
Wow. Lovely little skill here from Ladero. It actually bounces up on him. I think he wanted to take the shot here. There it is. This one, he wants to take the strike. And Rui Diaz is just onside there. Ziegler's late to step out.
Droshik's flick setting up for Cannon there. It was a second Seattle attack that's come from a no call when Dallas thought they wanted a free kick, and a few of them surrounded the referee after that. Barrios cross, got past Kim Ki-hee. Cannon trying to control. Dallas back in the game. They're arguing for a handball. No call on the field. As it stands, Reggie Cannon has given Dallas a lifeline.
Flick on, direct ball. They're playing in Seattle's half. And as this one comes in, we'll see if it is a handball. It's a little flick there. Is that hand from Reggie Cannon? A lot of hands go up, claiming for it. It's hard to see on that one. We'll get a good look here. I mean, I actually think if the handball is on Torres, if anything, not on Cannon.
As the throw come backwards, that is the end of the first half. So goals 4 minutes apart. Rui Diaz and then Jordan Morris for Seattle. Pegged back a few minutes before the break by Dallas's Reggie Cannon. And Dallas, look at that. They have led the league in goals scored in this next 15 minutes coming out of the break. Second half underway. Rui Diaz. That's for Jovan Jones.
Some college football. We are going to be doing a little recap of that last week, and then I'll break down my prediction as far as the rankings and going team by team. So let's go ahead and get in to this college football recap, and then we'll look at my prediction as far as the rankings go, and then we'll do a college basketball preview. So for this college football game, let's go ahead and recap what happened last week. First, we're going to go ahead and look at this Texas A&M versus LSU game. LSU has really struggled this season.
How do you top the original pan pizza from Pizza Hut? You go beyond. A new plant-based sausage so meaty you have to taste it to believe it. I see you staring. The new Beyond Pan Pizzas. Here for a limited time. No one out Pizza
I've
Hut.
had them making the college football playoff at number 4 at the beginning of the season. Obviously, that's not going to happen now that they're 3-4. Let's go ahead and get into some of these highlights.
One to the first down line to gain. Anaya Smith makes a
Texas A&M
doesn't matter.
Defensively.
Ball gets through those uprights.
They were great on defense.
Watch Marshall come under pressure and sacked right back outside of field goal range. The ball pops free, and it is picked up and run down the field by Carson Green.
So through the first 3 quarters,
Texas A&M is going to fumble this football. Watch the looper
defensively in this game.
They bump Marshall
so
off.
let's go ahead and move on.
I mean, that's big time.
Duck under on the rush by Tyree Johnson.
For
and
LSU,
down
as you can
goes
see there, giving
Max
up a
Johnson
sack.
inside the 5-yard line.
Head coach
Tyree
Ed
Johnson
Orgeron
here. Look
ripping
at
into his
the pen.
quarterback.
Just watch
You're
the
gonna see
pen
here,
on Deculus right here. Watch his
linebacker's going to be able to get around.
that's big time.
And he's just going to be able to
And then the
sack
spin
him
around and
right
White
there.
sticking that left arm up. It's coming
but
at Texas A&M, and they are right on
Texas
the
A&M
doorstep
would
this
go on
year.
to win this game. They played really well in this game. And Texas A&M showed that they can be a college football playoff team.
And there is a touchdown pass. Exactly the target, Dan, that you thought he'd be looking for in Terrace Marshall.
Ohio State maybe can't
Marshall, little
play
hot step.
some more games. So Texas A&M shows that they are ready if they can somehow sneak into the college football playoff. Let's take a look at the college football Heisman race. We have 3 main contenders, I would say. We have Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterback. We have Kyle Trask, the Florida quarterback. And we have Trevor Lawrence from Clemson. Right now, Trevor Lawrence definitely is the favorite. You know, Clemson, they are a 1-loss team. He's just looked great so far. He's been the main reason for their success and why they're one of the top favorites to win the football playoff. But Mac Jones, he put on a show in the Iron Bowl. He looked great. Then Kyle Trask has also looked great for Florida this season. We'll move on to our next game where we have Alabama taking on Auburn in this Iron Bowl game. History has been on the side of Alabama in this contest, and that was not different in this game. Auburn just played very poorly.
Hey everyone, Wheels here. I want to remind all of you to subscribe because there's still over 90% of you watching right now that aren't.
So second quarter, it's already 14-0. Auburn's going to get a field goal here, 14-3. And then here comes Alabama. Mac Jones, he just put on a show against Auburn. And he's been the main reason why Alabama is going to win this season. Definitely on the Heisman watch. Here's going to be a nice run. Gets inside the Auburn 40. Let's fast forward. We'll go now to the third quarter where Alabama leads 21-3. It's going to be a nice throw, and Auburn gets inside the Alabama 30. Not much more success from Auburn. You're going to see a QB sneak from Mac Jones. Alabama has a huge 21-6 lead. He's going to throw it out wide in the flat. The pass is going to be caught, and it's going to be a nice reception. So third quarter still 28-6 Alabama, but that's going to change on a nice run there for the touchdown to put away this game. So Alabama blows out Auburn. They win this game in the Iron Bowl. Alabama really has had success facing Auburn in this Iron Bowl. Field goal right there. Alabama wins this game big. So, and then the main talking point from this weekend was Sarah Fuller, the Vanderbilt kicker, who this was her first game playing for Vanderbilt.
On first and goal, handoff, touchdown, Missouri.
She was a goalkeeper for the Vanderbilt soccer team. She tried out, made the team, and got to kick for the first time this season. She only got one kickoff. So let's just go ahead and discuss this.
We are about to witness history in college football. Vanderbilt Commodores coming back onto the field. They will kick off to start the second half, and Sarah Fuller will kick off for Vanderbilt to become the very first woman to compete in the Southeastern Conference in a football game and a Power 5 football game. And there she is, wearing number 32, her soccer jersey number, and just 6 days ago was winning an SEC soccer tournament championship in Orange Beach, Alabama, and wouldn't you know it, history is on the field in Columbia, Missouri, as Sarah Fuller is about to put her right foot into a football, speaking volumes to women around the world.
Awesome moment. You can hear the crowd. Everybody understands what's happening right now. This is a pretty cool moment.
It looks like that's what she was supposed to do with the squib kick. Right there, the kick goes out only about 30-35 yards.
And the kick down at the 35-yard line, and Sarah Fuller. Happy Thanksgiving. What a day. What a day in college football.
It was supposed to be a squib kick. And people are saying, why is she getting in the news for a squib kick? But she did what she needed to do, and that was really what was in that game. But Missouri blew out Vanderbilt in that game, 41-0. So let's go ahead and move on to the college football rankings. So let's first look at the current college football rankings, and we'll just go team by team, talk about that team. So, all right, we have the rankings right here. Starting off at number 25, we have Tulsa. They didn't play last week. They beat Tulane in the game before that, and they are a one-loss team. They were beat by Oklahoma State in their opener. Next, we have Iowa, who is 4-2. Hang on, sorry, let me pull this up. So we have Iowa, who is 4-2. They beat Nebraska last week. They're a pretty good team. Probably ranked where they should be. We have Oklahoma State. I haven't really liked what I've seen from Oklahoma State. I expected them to be a playoff team. They're a 2-loss team with a loss to Texas, and they were blown out by Oklahoma, and they barely defeated Texas Tech, who's unranked last week. At number 22, we have Auburn. Expect Auburn to probably fall out of these rankings tonight, just because, they lost to Alabama, and they're now a 3-loss team. I am not impressed with Auburn this season. Next, we have a undefeated team, which is Marshall. They're 7-0 this season. They haven't really played anybody. That's why they're not higher. They beat, a couple good teams. They beat Western Kentucky. They haven't played anyone huge, though. They finished up against Rice and FIU. At number 20, we have Coastal, undefeated Coastal. They should probably go up. They blew out Texas State, who's not a great team. But their biggest matchup is going to be this Saturday when they play Liberty in that huge game. They could probably go up to maybe 16-17 with a win in that contest. But really, it's just all about in college football strength of schedule. And they don't have that. If some of these teams wouldn't be ranked that high if they played a harder schedule. It's nice to see teams like that ranked that high, but they wouldn't be ranked that high if they played a harder schedule. Next, coming in at 19, we have North Carolina. They've been a decent team this year. They're a 3-loss team at 6-3. They lost to Notre Dame. They've gotten some nice wins in there. They lost to Florida State, which really hurt them. They lost to Virginia. So they haven't really played, they played decent. Next, we have USC at 3-0. For the Pac-12, they just really haven't played enough games to be ranked too high. They're only going to play a maximum of 6 games, assuming they make the Pac-12 championship. And then, the Pac-12 really, now I'm officially going to rule them out of making the, I'm going to say that they are not going to make the, I think they're completely out of the contention for the college football playoff, with Oregon being dropped to 15. USC's at 18. Your couple other chances are Washington, who's undefeated, and Colorado. They haven't played enough games to make it, but, they were undefeated. We'll see how they finish, but I don't see them making it. Next at 17, we have Texas. Texas has been one of those teams that I kind of feel like they're one of the overrated college football teams. People hype them up. They're not that great of a team. They are a decent team at 5-3. They have lost to TCU. They lost to Oklahoma, and they did beat Oklahoma State. They had some good couple wins, but they lost to Iowa State. They lost to a lot of opponents who they needed to beat. Next at 2-1, we have Wisconsin. They've had a lot of their games postponed. The game that they're only going to play 5 games this season, because I don't think they're going to make the Big Ten championship. Just haven't played enough games to be ranked higher. Lost the game that they needed to win. They blew out Michigan and they blew out Illinois, but they lost to the team that they needed to beat, which was Northwestern. That's why Northwestern is probably going to make the Big Ten championship. They play Indiana and Iowa, good matchups to finish. Probably not going to be enough to get them close, or maybe close, but not into the college football playoff. Next, we have Oregon, who dropped to 15. They had a bad loss to Oregon State. They've beaten opponents they needed to beat in, but I haven't been overly impressed with them. They were in kind of a close game with Washington State. They were in a very close game with UCLA, and then they finally got beat in one of those games to Oregon State. So that's why the Pac-12 is officially done from the college football playoff. As far as strength of schedule, it's not going to be enough to get them over the teams like Northwestern, Cincinnati, Florida, Texas A&M that they would need to get over with that strength of schedule and not playing enough games. Next, we have at number 14, BYU. I feel like they should be ranked higher, at least in the top 10. They're 9-0. Have they played the hardest schedule? No. They probably played harder opponents than the 2 teams, Marshall and Coastal Carolina. They've beaten Boise State, Houston, some big teams. I'll like to see them play San Diego State to finish, but for them, in order to have a shot at getting in the college football playoff, because I don't think that the committee is going to rank them any higher because they're not playing games for a few weeks, I would say that they need to schedule like a Pac-12 opponent like Washington or somebody like that. At number 13, we have Iowa State, who's played pretty well this year. I like them. They're at 7-2. What really hurt them right off the bat was that loss. They didn't just lose. They kind of got blown out against Louisiana, who's unranked. And then they lost to Oklahoma State, which, is probably not going to be enough to get Iowa State into the playoff. Next, we have Indiana, what really hurt their chances was losing to Ohio State. I would say maybe a Northwestern loss could have a shot at getting them in. But any teams that are just outside, maybe 11-12, they need losses from the teams ahead of them. But Indiana is only a one-loss team. That's something to keep in mind. They have games to finish against Wisconsin and Purdue. Next, we have number 11, Oklahoma, who is a two-loss team. They're probably not going to get in. I don't see any team getting in with 2 losses. They lost to Iowa State and they lost to Kansas State, which is not going to get you in. Next, we have Miami's been a good team. Are they college football type playoff type team? Not really. Their only loss was a blowout loss to Clemson. Other than that, they've looked pretty good. They finished up against North Carolina. They do have an outside chance. I would say that the teams ranked ahead of them definitely have a better chance. But, Miami does have a, very slight shot at the playoff. Next, we have at number 9, 2-loss Georgia. I don't see a 2-loss team getting in. They only scored 14 on Kentucky. They were beaten by Florida, and they were beaten by Alabama. I don't see them getting in. Now, the teams that are ahead of them right now, I could see some of these teams getting in. I could see it's going to be one of the. If a team outside is going to sneak in, it's going to be either Texas A&M, Florida, Cincinnati, or Northwestern. And I would say that Texas A&M has the best shot. But then second, I'm actually going to go with Northwestern because if they can make the Big 12 championship, they're only a chance because I'm not saying that they could beat Ohio State, but if they could, then they would probably kick Ohio State out definitely because Ohio State's at 4, and Northwestern could definitely get a chance. But, if Ohio State were to fall to Northwestern in the Big 12 championship, not saying they will again, would Texas A&M sneak in, or could you see Northwestern leapfrog all the way there? I don't know. But Northwestern's been a good team this year. That one loss hurt them to Michigan State. They needed to win that. They're at 8. Still have a chance. Another team who has a chance is the Cincinnati Bearcats, who are undefeated this season. Being undefeated, they definitely have a shot. They finish up against number 25 Tulsa. They would need just the teams ahead of them to lose. Next, we have the Florida Gators, who definitely have a shot. They're a one-loss team. They lost to Texas A&M, which I don't think Florida's going to make it in because they lost head-to-head to Texas A&M. That was a huge game. They finished up against Tennessee and LSU. Definitely have to win those, but I don't see them getting in. So I would say Texas A&M or Northwestern has the best shot out of these teams that are on the outside looking in. Texas A&M, they are a one-loss team. They look good against LSU. Their one loss came against Alabama where they were blown out 52-24. I could see the only way that one of these teams gets in would obviously be if one of these teams lost in the top 4. I would say that the most likely scenario would be if Ohio State loses. Because if Clemson loses, they're definitely not going to get in, but I don't see them losing. But if they did lose, they definitely wouldn't get in. With 2 losses, Notre Dame probably wouldn't get in. Alabama's undefeated, so, they would probably still get in. So Texas A&M, these teams on the outside just need Ohio State or Clemson to lose, one of them. So let's look at Ohio State and the chance that they do have of losing. They play Michigan State and Michigan. I mean, upsets happen. I don't see them losing either of those games. They'll probably play Northwestern, the Big Ten Championship. So I don't see Ohio State losing. I don't see Clemson getting in. I do see them getting in, but I don't see them getting in if they lose another game. They only have one game left, and I don't see them losing to Virginia Tech on Saturday. So they should get in. So I think that Clemson's a lock. Ohio State's not a lock yet, as long as they don't get upset, but they do have to win that Big 12 championship game. Sorry, Big 10 championship game. Actually, Ohio State's not a lock either, because they had those positive COVID cases, and their game could get canceled this Saturday, and I believe they have to play one of their final 2 games. Otherwise, they might not make the championship game or the Pac-12 or the college football playoff. Notre Dame finishes up against Syracuse. They're pretty much a lock as long as they don't lose that game. They would probably slip out if they did lose it. Then Alabama's definitely a lock, 100%. I don't see them losing to LSU in that rivalry game, even if they did lose to LSU on Saturday, which they won't. But if they do, they probably would still get in. So I do think that this will be the Final Four because I don't see any of those teams losing. And the only way that one of these teams gets in is if one of these lose. So on the teams on the outside looking in, I'll rank the 4. I would say that the 4 with the best chance are Texas A&M, Florida, Cincinnati, and Northwestern. I would say Miami has a better chance than Georgia just because Miami's undefeated. But I would go Texas A&M, Northwestern, Florida, then Cincinnati, just because Northwestern, their best shot is winning out, and then if they do get to play Ohio State, beating Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. So, yeah, that's what they basically have to do. But I do think that the teams in right now will be the final teams in. Next, let's preview our college basketball game of the day on College Tuesday. We have Duke against Michigan State.
This is Nest Hub from Google, but to someone who just heard a spooky
be
noise.
Very good
hey
game.
Google, turn on the hallway lights.
This game will be on ESPN in about
It's the Google
an hour.
Ghost Eliminator. Nest Hub from
But
Google.
It should be a good game.
An epic win in overtime against Purdue. Sermons, Kimball, Gaffney, the officials, and let's get it started. And it's tipped and controlled.
So Duke, they
Bill
didn't look
Raftery
too
by the Blue
impressive in
Devils.
their
Hill
opener
right now, the
against
Spartans
Michigan
go.
State.
Another toss here. And up
They won
ahead,
by
they
double
push it up.
digits, but they
Goins with the
didn't
dog.
impress me.
And Michigan State has been having terrific
Michigan State, I
starts.
like them.
O'Connell on the other.
They got a good
O'Connell,
team.
very good shooter, struggled a little with that nice little
So
slip
this is
and
gonna be a very close game.
Delorier takes it on the feed from Barrett, who
rescreen quite a bit.
an open look for Goins. He passed. Up McQuaid drives baseline for 2.
Has a really solid ball fake,
Duke,
shot fake McQuaid, knowing people are going to bite for that shot.
That makes it easier for Tillman. The fellows will kiss the look at them on the boards, though. They just run the floor and are relentless. Mike Krzyzewski up early, not real happy.
So,
They were pinned down.
both of these teams are undefeated. Duke's only played a game.
Played really, they worked hard yesterday getting him shots. Some of the clean look here.
That's a 2. Foot was on the line.
If they don't put Williamson on the block, Tillman will have time the night off.
Reddish.
There you go.
There's Zion with the put-back dunk.
That's where you got to dominate, big fella.
So,
Here he is,
as
getting
far
it
as
on the
this
wing,
game, Nets
dumping it
17
down low
times.
to Ward, who's in for the first time. Backing in on Delorier, clips it and gets it.
Coming into this game.
Up ahead quickly.
Don't get back.
Michigan State,
McQuaid,
they're more
dunks it right in front of Delorier.
Wow, was that impressive?
And they also are a good transfer.
Nice slip. Go strong. There you go. How about McQuaid? Is he into this game?
McQuaid trying to set it up for Ward. Get backing in and getting a second bucket.
Nobody doubling or raking even.
Oh,
Not standing still and no post up. Here he comes.
Oh, boy. Wow. Took on the 5th-year senior, and that explosive move, rim.